Welcome. I'm Robert Burke, Chair of the new Libertarian Party affiliate in Pierson-St. Croix County, affectionately known as Liberty Valley, Wisconsin, with the Wisconsin Libertarian Party response to Governor Walker's budget. In what can best be described as a difference of vision for what governments should and should not be involved in, and for simplicity's sake, our response will be limited to the Governor's 5 priorities for the 2013-2015 Biennial Budget. Priority 1, growing our economy. More than any one item, our current state income tax does not serve business creation nor job expansion, and we see nothing in the Governor's budget or priorities to effect this change. A single state sales tax, applied evenly to all products sold in Wisconsin, will create jobs and lower taxes on our poor and middle class faster and cheaper than any economic development tax credits favoring just a few. The time, effort, and complexity of filing taxes shifts productive capital needed to grow businesses into shifting paper from here to there. This would also allow for a reduction in staff and budget from the Department of Revenue, which instead is slated to grow by over 40 positions through 2014. A number of the new positions are found in a new budget item for tax fraud enforcement expansion. And I'll let the Governor tell you what each one of these jobs will cost, but hint, it is not cheap. Fewer points of tax collection require fewer points of policing. Additionally, tax credits and other such government instruments simply call people to the trough of the state government and engenders the crony capitalism Wisconsinites abhor. I assure you, Governor Walker knows less about which new business has a valid product or service than the free market. And if his tax credits are good for new business, they should be good for all business. Government should supply no advantage to any specific business in any way at the state level. It is not now, nor has it ever been, good business to have government pick winners and losers. Priority 2, developing our workforce. Fluffery like the statements in this priority convey nothing, and any mention of creating innovation should finish with our government. Wisconsin needs to get out of the way and eliminate the tax barriers to innovation. That's the key. By eliminating property tax laws and moving to a single state sales tax system, developing businesses and technologies will flock to Wisconsin where they won't be taxed until they can add to our productive economy. This model is well known and at work in Texas, the state showing the greatest growth in the nation. The Governor's plan simply reeks of central planning and more wasted taxpayer dollars attempting to manipulate market demands that are best quantified in a free market with tax systems that don't punish the innovation that we seek. Priority 3, transforming education. Libertarians agree with the sentiment that an investment in education is one that pays for itself many times over. But there will be no true transformation as long as public education dominates in Wisconsin. Our education system is built on rote memory and lacks the teaching rigor of logic and reason offered by other forms of learning such as a classical education. Setting arbitrary standards with tests is far more expensive than a free market where schools are measured by the demand for entry and the demand for their graduates by colleges and employers. As Governor Walker noted in his speech during School Choice Week event, quote, "It's really important that you all and every kid in the city, community, and state get a great education and access to that education." Agreed. Really agreed, actually. Charter schools like the Classical School of Appleton, Wisconsin should be a choice given to every parent in Wisconsin immediately. An equal voucher system that does not favor our public schools as it does in Milwaukee might even meet the criteria spelled out by our mayor of Milwaukee, Tom Barrett, who said in an interview at the same event as Walker, quote, "I have to make sure whatever system we have provides for adequate and equitable funding." Vouchers would also help our parochial schools improve by providing them adequate and equitable funding. What could be more equitable than for every student to have school choice? Our colleges face a greater challenge. Public finance and the strings attached to it are holding our colleges back from innovating. Eliminate public funding for our colleges and force them to go to the businesses in Wisconsin and across America, and create joint funding opportunities, perhaps where the businesses offer scholarships for getting degrees in jobs that they need filled. What a novel idea. Government money distorts market signals, telling our schools we need humanity majors and not engineers. Economist Alex Tabarrok pointed out in 2009 that there were almost as many psychology majors graduated as the total number of jobs in clinical counseling and school psychology in the whole country. Government funding from both loan guarantees and outright budgetary actions distort the market and has led to 2 startling problems. First, college students are graduating with massive debt. And second, They are graduating with unmarketable educations that are partially paid for or fully backed by taxpayers. Wisconsin could also learn a lesson from many European countries and encourage private trade schools and apprenticeships to form, sponsored and paid for by the trade industries, and allow that to become the entry point into their respective professions. This is what educational innovation really looks like. Priority 4, reforming government. The state of Wisconsin currently has 56 individual agencies, and in 2010 paid over 1,000 people a salary of $100,000 or more. Wisconsin's agencies should be built around specific revenue streams paid for by the people using the services or facilities. Those budget items, such as our public safety officers and school funding, should come from a general consumption tasks, as they benefit all citizens at one time or another. Those, however, used by specific individuals in varying amounts, such as our roads or fisheries, should be paid for through a tax or fee sufficient to meet the budgetary needs of the related services. Direct taxes, focused on specific budget areas, will allow every citizen to be aware at all times how much they are being taxed without shifting costs to those not utilizing many of the services. This is a much fairer tax system, as those who earn more tend to use far more of the state's discretionary services, such as our parks and waterways, and taxes would thus actually be higher on these wealthier individuals rather than on the poor who don't access these services. I assure you, Wisconsin's wealthy, and a fair portion from Illinois, will be more than happy to pay to protect the beauty and the resources of Wisconsin, as long as they know that that is where the money actually goes. Priority 5, investing in our infrastructure. In this priority, the governor addresses additional health care for our senior. Healthcare costs are high and access to care is low for one reason and one reason alone: government-funded health care. More government health care is the answer to the problem, like more debt is the answer to debt. The infrastructure of our healthcare system, in an effort to comply with state and federal rules and regulations, has forced our formerly broad network of independent physicians providing charitable care to our poor to merge with hospitals, reducing access and skyrocketing the expenses as the game of supply and demand set in. This consolidation essentially eliminated competition from the market and thus led to higher prices. There is one thing the governor could do to begin changing the system here in Wisconsin: mandate the healthcare industry provide pricing for all products and services openly to make residents better consumers of healthcare. Now, we know that this won't happen. The system is riddled with multiple prices for each product or service depending on who's paying the bill. This, by the way, adds substantially to the cost of care and helps explain why 42% of the people that file bankruptcy list the cause as medical bills. Cash generally pays the highest rate set, in case you didn't know. In summary, it is clear in the priorities laid out by our governor that there is no macro understanding of the underpinnings to a free economy. Furthermore, nothing in this budget appears ready to address either the eventuality of cuts in federal spending or the need to free our markets to prepare. In the interim, our two-party dominated government will continue to farm out taxpayer-funded advantages and favors, serving the elected officials and the system first and the people second. The governor's priorities to direct the economy and construct towers of innovation are meddlesome, dangerous, and distort the real solutions a free market will create. Nobel Prize winner and Austrian economist Friedrich Hayek wrote about government's attempt to design economies. Quote, "The curious task of economics is to demonstrate to men how little they really know about what they imagine they can design." Our governor has quite the imagination. Welcome to our Austrian perspective.